and welcome to another South Tip Arts podcast. Just before we get into this week's episode and speak to our featured guest, I want to give mention to our Christmas craft exhibition, which is currently on here at the Art Centre in Nelson Street in Clonmel. It features work from regional craftspeople. There's some beautiful ceramics, there's textiles, there's furniture, something for everyone actually. Some really, really beautiful work on display in here. So come on in and have a look if you're in the area. This exhibition will run all the way up until Christmas, and you might spot a really nice and unique present for somebody special in your life if you pop in and have a look around. We're also running a series of Christmas workshops which kicked off last week. So the next session will be on the 7th of December, which is Saturday, and that will consist of part 2 of the adults Christmas workshop, which costs €15 per person and runs from 2:30 to 4:30. On Saturday the 14th of December, there will be another children's Christmas craft workshop. That's a €10 per participant, 11 to 12:30 p.m. is the time for that one. And there's a wreath making workshop for adults in the afternoon on the 14th. That's 2:30 to 4 p.m. and the cost for that is also €15. The materials are included for all these workshops. If you'd like further details, have a look at our Facebook page, or you can visit www.southtip.artcentre.ie for further details. You can also contact the centre by calling 052 612 7877. This week we feature Roisin Hahessy, who is an illustrator from Clonmel but based in Brazil. Roisin trained as an animator at Ballyfermot College before spending some years working for TV3. She's currently represented by the Bright agency in London, and you can have a look at her work on her website, which is www.rosha.ie, which is ROSHA. So that's www.rosha.ie. I was delighted to spend some time chatting with Róisín, who's on a visit home at the moment. She gave a talk to some of the students of LIT, and I caught up with her afterwards to talk about her ongoing work. Roisin Hahessy, you're very welcome to South Tip Art Centre. Welcome home. So you're back visiting Clonmel from Brazil.
Yeah.
You're a long way from home. How on earth did you end up in Brazil?
How did I end up in Brazil? The big question. Well, I was living in Dublin for, 11, 12 years. I met my husband in Dublin. He's from Brazil. So, about 5 years ago we decided, probably 6 years ago we decided, spent about a year making up our minds, and we moved to Brazil in 2015. Yeah. He's from, to the city where he's from.
And you studied animation in Dublin, which is where you met.
Yeah.
So you went to Ballyfermot.
I went to Ballyfermot, I studied the animation course there, classical and computer animation. It was 3 years. And after that, I had a few different jobs after Ballyfermot.
We started in a weird place. Maybe we should go right back to the beginning, because we started in the middle. So we should start here, because you're from Clonmel.
Yeah.
And you grew up in right in the town centre, didn't you? In Martin Street.
Yeah, I grew up in Martin Street, yeah.
Which is one of the older streets of the old neighbourhoods of the town, kind of, I would say. Is it something you always wanted to do art ever since you were little?
Yeah. No, I don't even remember when I started, but always loved it. I used to do stag art in Clonmel every Saturday morning.
Yeah, still going strong?
Still going. Yeah. Then I did the after secondary school, I did the PLC course in the tech in Clonmel for 1 year, just to get a nice portfolio. And it was in transition year that I decided I wanted to do animation. It was a bit of, it wasn't very common or very popular at the time.
And now it's huge. Really when you started, it was kind of really in its infancy, wasn't it?
Yeah, the only thing you'd hear was it would have been Disney or Pixar, and you kind of think that's the job I need to get. But nowadays it's a little bit more.
It's so close to home now, we have really
no, it's great. But I was lucky as well, because actually my teacher in the secondary school, she knew the guys who own Cartoon Saloon in Kilkenny. Okay. I never even heard of it at the time. We didn't even really have internet at the time to do research.
Isn't it mad?
Yeah, so I did a week work experience with them when I was probably 15 or 16.
Oh wow, that was so.
Yeah, I really loved it. Yeah, really, really good. I was just there watching them, and they gave me little exercises, but it was really nice. After that, I was like, no, I really want to do this. I
suppose to get a sense of what your working day would be like in a job like that.
Yeah, no, it was so interesting. Yeah, I didn't even imagine that it could have been a job. So it was great to be there. So after that, I was set my mindset I definitely want to do it. The only thing was at the time, I think the only 2 courses in the country were in Dunleary or Ballyfermot. Yeah, so it's like I need to move to Dublin to do.
And that was obviously something that you didn't bother you in the slightest anyway.
I was delighted. And I did the PLC course in the tech just to get a nice portfolio ready for college, and went off then to Ballyfermot.
And when you came out of Ballyfermot then, would you have found that there was an awful lot of work for you, or was it still sort of a bit early?
It was a bit early, but as well, I think in college, you're working so much towards your assignments and you just want to, pass your assignments I left with what I thought, was an alright portfolio, but looking back, it was, just taking assignments from college. There was nothing, it wasn't very creative. I was using exactly what we did in the course. I applied to. I remember walking around my portfolio on a CD, dropping it into different animation companies in Dublin and around the country. But I didn't get a job straight away at all. It was quite difficult. But as well, it's a good shock, I think, for students when they leave college. It's not always that easy just to walk into.
That walking around with a CV now today, it's so much easier to put yourself out there.
Oh yeah, I had a show. My showreel was on a CD. I had my CD in one hand and my printed CV in the other.
It's gas, isn't it? And I suppose the pool of people that you could take it to in Ireland was quite small at the time, so
yeah, there wasn't many. Like there was a few. I could name a few companies that I can think of, but I don't know, maybe 5-6 main ones, and still much smaller than they are today.
So did the illustration happen by kind of accident, or?
Well, after applying for the jobs in animation, I eventually made my way into the creative industry. My first job was translating graphics for a localization company. I did that for a year. It still wasn't creative enough for me. I still wanted to do something more. It's like software packages, websites, so they'd have all need to be translated to different languages.
Okay, right.
So I didn't do the translations, but someone else would translate and I would just change any words on graphics.
Yeah.
It was a good step, but it was very tedious. It wasn't exactly the area I wanted
and not
to be.
Creative enough for you.
For me, but it was a brilliant step towards where I am today. Because from there I went to TV3. I got a job at TV3, which is now Virgin. I was working there for 6 years. Again, began kind of at the bottom doing
kind of motion graphic-y thing.
Yeah, and I ended up doing opening titles, some set design. It was very, very varied, very nice.
That sounds nice.
So I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I could have stayed as well. I would have stayed there. I was very happy there. But during that time I met my boyfriend, now husband, and he's from Brazil. So we ended up moving off to Brazil in 2015. It was a decision we kind of, it was always on the cards. I kind of thought it would never really happen. I think he did as well. But then when he finished college, he studied music. When he finished his course, we both kind of thinking maybe it would be a good, time to go for 1 year. We said we'd go for a year. And I actually thought it would be really good for me that I could, because I was really enjoying my work in TV3, but it's still, I miss drawing, I hadn't been actually just drawing for so long. And I kind of, around that time as well, I was looking into the career of an illustrator. Just a few different options, but I was kind of, children's books really, really grabbed me. So I kind of thought it'd be really good for me to just something completely different, leave my job, and we had some money saved as well. So it gave me the chance to work on my portfolio and build up, just think about it and see how it would go. So I started off teaching English over there as well, a few hours a day, just
Would you say now Brazil, I'm thinking about the colours in your work is so vibrant and like clearly aimed at to the younger audiences. But there's so much joy in there really is So would you think the colours of Brazil influence you in that?
It's funny, I actually think so. It was never deliberate or anything, but I noticed when we moved I started drawing more than I ever did before with the time. But definitely the colour palettes became much brighter. I used to love dark and even scary and but I started using a lot more yellow. I've become obsessed with yellow even in my clothes and my illustrations. But I think it definitely influenced.
It must have. They're beautiful. They're really joyful. It's the thing that comes to mind when you look. Is there a lot of opportunities in Brazil for book illustrators? Because it seems a little unusual, that you would find something so perfect for you, so far away.
Actually, I'm kind of working with a company, with an agency, but they're based in London, so I'm living in Brazil, but there's a lot of illustrators, they're very creative over there. I know lots of illustrators there and designers and graffiti artists. It's really artistic there.
So I suppose essentially under an agency you could really be living anywhere.
I could, So I do interact there and I love taking part in fairs and I sell my prints and it's really good. But I am working for myself, freelance, not working for anyone doing over there. Yeah.
And would you find the prints, like, you know, that when you look at the illustrations, you immediately think, and I mentioned to you earlier, the idioms.
Oh, yeah.
That you did, the English idioms, which are very funny. And a couple of favourites jumped out at me, and I thought, wow, I'd put that on my wall. Or, you know, I think they'd make really nice cards. And do you find the prints and things like that are a seller for you?
Oh, yeah. It's funny though, I find some of my favourite illustrations wouldn't sell, say, as much as something more commercial. So when I started going to the fairs, I realised I needed to kind of make a portfolio a little bit more commercial. So I've a few series, say there's one I did of some lyrics from the Beatles. I have another one, the 27 Club, you know, they died at 27. And they kind of fly out, you know, people just like, a bit more...
when you can put your finger on the pulse of
so they wouldn't be my favourite, you know, my favourite work, but they definitely work for selling.
And is that a large part of what you do? Would you say that I'm just trying to get a sense of, for anybody who would be interested in doing what you do, you know, someone younger perhaps, is it 50-50 split between your agency work and your print work, or how do you...
No, for me it depends, and it varies so much from person to person. For me, it's mainly my agency work and my book illustration. The fairs is more something nearly, not, I wouldn't say a pastime, but it's more just something different, and I love getting away and meeting people, and you know,
it's lovely to get out and see people's reaction to
and
what you're doing.
Especially for someone starting off, it's a brilliant way just to get out there and meet other people, and you know, see the competition and just enjoy and getting out of the house, because you work on your own so much as well, and you know, it's good to get out and meet other people. And
do you miss the animated work? Have you kind of settled into...
No, and I do a little bit sometimes. It's something I always have in my head. I'd love to maybe even go eventually work in a studio or work on an animation. I've never really worked... In TV3 I did my own animations, but I never worked in a company. But I do, some jobs pop up from time to time with a little bit of animation. I love taking out After Effects and doing it. But I'd like to continue, and I made a film a few years ago. I made my own short animated film. It was more something that I always wanted to do, so I was like, I'm just going to do it from start to finish, you know, characters, storyboards, the whole lot. And that was, it was a really good experience, really good challenge.
And when you started in Ballyfermot, it was probably more a case of, just in terms of what they're doing up in the college, which you visited yesterday here. It would have been more sort of 2D, would it? And very much... The course was 2D and 3D, which was 3D Max, and then, but the course was much more pencil. It was all, we didn't have Cintiqs or drawing tablets or anything like that. It was, it was pencil and paper. But is it, I don't know, I wonder, is it different? Is it different, the noise of the pencil on the paper?
The noise of the pencil.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It is, but even now when I think it's so good with the technology now. Say that the film I made, I used...
So would you use paper and pencil now to this day for your drawings, or would you tend to work...
I work digitally mainly, yeah. Like even for my animated film, even though I was trained, say, with paper and pencil, I wanted to figure out a way I could do this myself. You know, and I downloaded Sketchbook Pro. They have a lovely little flipbook feature. It's so basic, like it wouldn't be... You're limited to 2 layers, I think, but for me it was really good, and it was the exact same thing, just drawing digitally, with on the tablet, basically like pencil and paper. So, and it just makes it easier because you can copy and paste a bit then, and you're not throwing out loads of paper.
What program would you draw in now?
Mainly Photoshop. I use Photoshop nearly for everything.
And an iPad and this.
Well, I use a Cintiq. It's like an iPad. The Wacom Cintiq.
Yeah.
But I love, like, especially my own work, sketching is always on paper and pencil. Yeah, and it's more relaxing as well. As soon as I turn on the computer, I'm in kind of work mode. I feel like I'm working. But I feel like I can just be more creative with pencil and paper in my sketchbook.
I suppose you're very restricted.
So I use both, but always all the client work that I do so far, I would be open to doing something in the future, but everything I do is digital, and they will like it as well because I just send the digital files. It's easy for them, and but I do like something I've always trying to get is, you know, a more organic, more hand-drawn style in the digital, which I think it's there. I'm always working on it.
Yeah, and you're very... I'm always fascinated by how people can produce something with almost so few lines, if you know what I mean. They're so simple, but it's the gesture
just nice lines. I love lines as well. I'm always...
it just fascinates me how people can produce something so expressive with so few marks. You know.
When I went to Brazil anyway, I spent the first 2 years, teaching English and working on my own portfolio. That's when I did the idioms, trying to come up with clever ideas, things that people might like. Just, and it was great that series I did. It was actually teaching English in the school. I never even thought about idioms or expressions before, so I was teaching the students there. I thought that could be an interesting little series to do, and so I picked out 10 of I wrote down 100 different idioms, picked 10, and they ended up, it was just the idiom itself with a little illustration with the literal kind of meaning of it. They ended up, being shared by Board Panda online. They went viral. I'm still getting emails 4 years later for people who want to use them. Things like that were a great boost, I also did many series that never took off, that nobody liked, you know. And I decided then as well I'd love to get an agent. I thought it was the right thing for me. A lot of illustrators have an agent, a lot don't. Depends on the person. But I kind of felt like it would be a good move. Good step, a good step for me to have an agent. So I started applying. Every agency is different. They'll ask for, some might want 10 illustrations, some want a PDF, some want 2 illustrations. So just kind of researched which agencies I thought would suit me. Applied, didn't hear anything. And I think I applied probably 3 or 4 times to many agencies over the space of maybe 2 years. And then eventually I got signed to the Bright agency in London. So that was in 2017. And it's been really great since I started working with them. I've illustrated 10 books published so far. Lots of them are small little board books for children,
I've been looking through your kind of back catalogue. They're so cute.
It's been really great working with them. They've given me opportunities that I could never have dreamed of, getting myself.
It must be mad walking into a shop and seeing it on the shelf.
It's so great.
This must be a really cool feeling.
It's really. I wasn't even expecting this shop. My local bookshop in Brazil. I walked in and they were sitting there on the shelf. I was very excited. Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah.
So like that. I mentioned earlier Beag Bídeach.
Yeah.
Was that was a collaboration with another person, was it?
Yeah. That again, Beag Bídeach. That's by Futa Fata in Galway, the publisher. Yeah. Written by Sive Devlin. Futa Fata got in touch with the Bright agency.
Okay, so they found you. And
they found me. I think they met them at a book fair or something. But so they got in touch with me through the Bright agency, and they had a book. Sive had written a book, Beag Bídeach, in Irish.
That was a bit of a departure from the normal stuff you would have been doing. So
it was my first trade book, my first picture book. So I was really excited about that. But I think you were asking about, do I write as well? But
do you write the words generally that go along with the images in your books? Or?
No, I'd love to eventually, but it's something I'd need to study a bit on and myself. But
I imagine you've seen so many of them by now that you could probably do it.
Yeah, I would say it would be Beag Bídeach, the writer. She would write the book first,
and they come.
And then the publisher. I don't think I had much contact. I didn't have really any contact with Sive until we finished the book.
Yeah.
So the publisher then would look for the illustrator. And then all the illustrations and feedback would go from the illustrator to the publisher. Wouldn't really be in contact with the author as well.
As such.
And then when it was all done, it takes a while. There's a lot of back and forth and lots of edits, and you need to not be very precious about your work as well as an illustrator, because they have something in their heads what they want, and you can't.
Or whatever,
it doesn't mean like, oh, your work is terrible. If they want to change something, it's just that's not what they had in mind. So I know some people take it very much to heart, but you need to just it's for them. That's why it's really good as well. I always try and do personal work, try and make a bit of time for just my own work, because that's, I think, when you really grow and really develop yourself.
Yeah. And if people want to see your personal work now, have you somewhere you can send them?
Well, I'm on Instagram. My name is Roisin Hahessy. My surname is Hahessy. It's a bit unusual. And then I have Instagram. I'm on Twitter, Facebook.
I'll add all of those into the show notes at the end.
Perfect.
Just go find them if they want.
Yeah.
What's next then, would you say?
I don't know. Well, I mentioned there, I'd love to. I say eventually, but I'm already kind of, looking into it as, writing my own books. Again, I just think, I could be much, from start to finish your own idea. I think it'd be really nice. Yeah. But I'm really happy. I think where I am right now is really good. I can even, looking at my own work, I can see I've come a long way just in the 2 years that I've been working professionally.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to stay kind of where I am at the moment. Just keep doing what I'm doing. Hopefully the books will keep coming in.
Yeah, but it sounds like you're busy, so it's great when the work keeps coming.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, no, it's busy enough. And then it's trying to juggle as well. For a while you say yes to everything that comes in, but to try and be able to choose. Not to choose, but just to be smart about it. You don't want to be bombarded.
To have a bit of balance as well.
You need to take breaks, take the weekends off, and just
and you
relax.
want time to do your own things as well. Then, if you're doing personal work.
Yeah.
Would you have any advice for anybody who's thinking about going down the same pathway that you went down now?
You mean as a children's book illustrator?
As an illustrator, or I suppose even an animator, you know.
Yeah, well, definitely to draw, you know, keep drawing, you know, sketchbooks and just...
I've got a little potential illustrator at home who gets really, really, really cross at herself.
Yeah.
And thinks everything she does is just rubbish. Is such a perfectionist. Advice for somebody like that who's just keep drawing, and if they are rubbish, it doesn't matter. You're still learning. You mentioned earlier there, like, that you've done loads of things that people didn't pick up on at all, but the idioms just seem to strike on some chord. And isn't that kind of half it, isn't it? There's a little bit of luck involved in all
there
these
is.
things.
Oh yeah, there's always a little bit of luck as well. And but I'd say the advice would be, even if you think they're not good, you're always, even a bad drawing, you've learned something from it. You mightn't even know what you've learned. So, you know, just keep at it, keep doing
going.
it. And I think as well, I remember when I finished college, they would always say you need to, especially say in animation, you need to have a portfolio aimed at a specific area, you know, character design, storyboard. And I just think, I want to do it all. I'd love to, I don't really care which area, which it is obviously really good if you do have that portfolio, but don't have your mind 100% set on one thing, because you could, you know, branch into something else. Like, I think every little even job and everything I did along the way kind of brought me to where I was. Even the jobs I didn't like, they made me realise that you need to pick up the pencil, you need to really work, you know, kind of would give you the push. So I think, just kind of go with it as well, and if you really enjoy it, even if you're getting kickbacks, you'll still keep going, you know, you'll still push on through. And that's it. It's like anything in the realm of, I suppose, art or drama or anything like that. Like, it's all, you have to kind of get used to the kind of kick downs, and there's plenty of them, and rejection. You know, it's par for the course. And it goes with the so don't get upset if someone says no, not this time, or you know, they don't mean, you know, don't take it too personally. You know, you'll get something. Just keep going. Keep going. I think if you love it, you will anyway. So thanks a million for coming in. Thanks for talking to me. And thanks for passing on your advice. Best of luck with all your work, and enjoy the rest of your trip home. Thank you. And thanks so much to Róisín for sitting down with me for a little while. Once again, if you'd like to see more of her work, the website is www.rosha.ie. That's www.rosha.ie. Róisín is also very visible on Facebook as Roisin Hahessy Illustration. She's also on Twitter, and she's on Instagram, where you can see much of her beautiful artwork. You can keep up with her progress on there. If you'd like to contact the podcast, the email address is southttipartspodcast@gmail.com. That's southttipartspodcast@gmail.com. And you can listen to this podcast in all the usual places. And that's it for another episode. We'll speak to you all next time.